Colby Covington is this scary, scary guy in the Kamaru Usman era, Kamaru Usman generation of welterweights, right? Everybody pretty much agreed if Kamaru wasn't champion, Colby would be. Dana White agreed as well, which is why I think that Colby Covington is still technically the number one contender, technically, right? Like, look at who he's fighting as opposed to everybody else. While you have such like hot talent in this division right now. The only problem that we have here is if you look at the most stunning victories of Colby Covington's career in the last 5 wins or so, it's not super impressive. It's Jorge Masvidal, Tyron Woodley, Robbie Lawler, right? RDA, Rafael Dos Anjos, which are big names, but if you just look at the hierarchy and the age of those fighters, it isn't fantastic. Leon Edwards, on the other hand, is kind of in the same boat, man. RDA, Nate Diaz, Gunnar Nelson. I mean, come on, bro. There's not much of an argument other than Kamaru Usman. One of these guys got 2 wins of them recently. One of those guys got 2 losses recently. So, stacking up competition, is it fair to even compare schedules in the last 5 fights or so? Because both of these fighters weren't the most active fighters as of late. What do you think?
I think the caveat to that question is in the last 5 fights or so, because if that's the case, if we're only going last 5, I don't think so, because it obviously looks like, especially with the name value alone, Leon Edwards has been staying more active with the more relevant fighters. But if you go through just what they're doing their entire career, Colby Covington's put down some dogs, and it's hard to deny a guy with his acumen going forward. But it's hard. Like I said, it's hard to agree or disagree with that because both fighters have been doing such great work for so long. Like you said, Derek, what was it? 9-fight win streaks? Or 9-fight win streak. Excuse me. 9-fight win streak for Rocky. Man, it's hard to deny him, bro. It's really, really hard.
It is hard to deny him, but the reality is he's going to go in here with a stylistic matchup a lot of people favor Colby on, right? It's 5 rounds, and if you look at Colby Covington, his last 5 fights or so, 5 or 6 fights have all been 5-rounders. Leon, last 3 fights have been 5-rounders. He had another one in there, RDA, Cowboy Cerrone, right? But I'm just interested to see, man. He was able to stifle the grappling of a Kamaru Usman. However, Usman's grappling and Colby's grappling is a little bit different. If you had to give an assessment as to like what's the major difference between the 2 styles of grappling, do you have any take on that?
I would say, especially for Colby, more so of a methodical approach, if you will. Like he's thinking about ways to set up traps, where Kamaru Usman is a lot more of a power, just blitz you down, get you down to the ground, and muscle you through. Where Colby, he has that potential to muscle you through, but he's going to do it a little more tactful way. Do you agree, Derek? You have a different view?
I actually have a very specific take on this because this is why I'm such a big fan of Colby Covington's wrestling. Colby will beat you not on the first attempt, not on the second attempt. If you watch a couple of his recent fights, man, it might take him the 8th or 9th attempt, but he will get you on that 8th or 9th attempt. So while you're scrambling up to your feet, up, down, up, down, up, down, he's biding his time, just dragging you down, making you carry your own weight and his weight. So by the time that you're exhausted, right, and he finally gets the upper hand, he's holding you there for the entire round. Now you manage to get back up. What does he do? Takes a couple of minutes off, right? And then gets right back on the gas. And that's the problem, is he can do that. So what's the scariest thing, AJ, for a striker? It's a grappler who won't allow you to open up because every time you throw a kick's caught, you're getting taken down. But there's going to be one major discrepancy between these 2 fighters that I think is much more stark contrast than the Usman Covington fight, is that I think Leon Edwards, striking wise, is leaps and bounds and levels and mountains above Colby Covington, man. I don't even think it's a close stratosphere. What do you think there?
Absolutely leaps and bounds, Derek, especially with the way Leon is able to read things and set things up. I mean, obviously, boom, headshot. We're there. We saw how it worked. A lot of people are calling it luck, but we see him set these kind of techniques up and go for it. And one of the most dangerous things that Colby Covington can do is exactly what you're talking about, Derek. When you take him down 4, 5, 6 times, but Leon gets up and Colby decides, I need about 30 seconds to take it off. Well, we saw what happens when you take off 30 seconds with Kamaru Usman in that Leon fight. And Leon, he is a sniper. He can get it done, and he packs an absolute wallop too. That's what makes it so interesting to me, because this fight can change momentum in a split second, and a new crown or the old crown can be champed again, and it's going to be very interesting either way.
Take a look. Leon Edwards, and really what I want to focus on here is the amount of times he's been taken down in these last couple of fights and the outcomes of the fight. So Usman took him down 4 times, but we know how that ended, right? It was a pretty dominant victory. Here, Usman took him down 5 times, was on pace to a dominant victory till, as you said, headshot, bang, boom, whatever you want to call it. Everything else, though, man, you take a look down. RDA couldn't take him down. Gunnar Nelson took him down 3 times, but that's what Gunnar does. That's literally his specialty. Still got the win. Cowboy took him down, win. Peter Sabata took him down, win. Vicente Luque, win. Dominic Waters win. I mean, how far do you got to go, right? The last couple losses that he had where it was major takedowns, it was Usman back in 2015, Claudio Silva 2014. So the reason that I bring this up at all is because in the grand scheme of things, Colby can take him down, but can you hold him down? And I think that's been the hardest thing. We don't know if he'll be able to hold him down, but we know he's going to keep trying nonstop for 5 rounds. So what are the odds here, AJ, that in the attempt of closing that distance, how Colby Covington often throws the big wing-in shots over the head in order to initiate the clinch, Leon catches him, man, because I think it's a real possibility.
Oh, absolutely, Derek. I'm willing to go above 60% on those odds because of that tendency. Because the tendency, especially with the pressure that Colby can see, and if ability opens up, like I said, Leon's a sniper. So the fact that he can find those holes and exploit them, I'm giving him better than 50% odds. Like I said, 60 going forward. It makes a lot of sense, especially if it's just that split second of timing. That's one of the best things I like about Leon. Yeah, he's a good fighter all around. He has multiple different sets of skills, but his timing is impeccable, and he knows when to strike and how to strike. That's one of the best things about a striker in general, man. I love it.
So context-wise, folks, as you can see, there's a little bit of a different screen right here. There's no props. There were no props available. It's way too early in the week for props to be up for an actual sports book right now. But you'd have to try to think, man, if you had to look at like what's the decision props on here, I think that Colby Covington would had the higher value decision prop. And for a knockout, it would be Leon Edwards. I just think that there's going to be one key that comes down to the victory of this matchup on either side right here. If Leon Edwards can maintain his lateral movement, continuously move in that circle, and do not let Colby just cut you off and just straight line take you down like how Miesha Tate just did to Julia Avila, right? If you can avoid that, I think he's going to have a lot of luck right here. With that being said, again, and new Leon Edwards on my end. But AJ, you're rocking with Colby Covington, so give your final words on this one, and then let's
Colby Covington and new. No, it's gonna be a very, very close fight. I might be taking the controversial pick right here, but I think it's a smart choice because of the determination Colby has and the gas tank, man. I think it's gonna be a 5-round decision fest. I got Colby Covington and new.
Right on. And I hope I said and still. Please correct me if I did not. But and still, shout out Leon Edwards. All right.